Welcome to another episode of Candi Unscripted. I'm Candi, and this is my sister Joy.
Hello.
I am so excited today to share with y'all a story of hope and a story of when God says it's not over, it is not over. So I just want to say that today this is an interview with my sister and just a little glimpse into her life of the last 5 years. And I know that you yourself may be going through a time of uncertainty, loss of some type, divorce. And today, that's what we're here for. We're here to tell you that there is still hope. And Joy was married for
23 years.
23 years, okay? When her life took a change. And it really started unraveling you said about 5 years before, right?
Yeah,
There were signs.
Yes.
There were signs.
It was like just you'd say something or I would say something and he would hear it different. The communication wasn't there.
There was like even I could tell it's tension. And you guys that have been through this, there's tension. It's just not good. And then, there were even times that personally I would say, Joy, this is not healthy. This is not good. And, I have a friend right now that is going through a situation and she knows it's over. And it's just really hard when you know something, but you don't want to admit defeat. I get it. You get in marriage forever. Like you take a vow before God, you want to be in this marriage, but sometimes that other person, that's not their intention. So Joy, it came to a head a Labor Day weekend, actually, at my home 5 years ago. And I don't think that, I know God he never leaves us alone. And he always orchestrates, if you put your life in his hands, he orchestrates your footsteps. And I think there was absolutely no doubt that it was meant to happen like it did, kind of unravel the weekend you were here, because she had the support she needed to say, okay, look, this is not healthy. And so, Joy, I know, like, I remember the day that you said to me on the phone, I cannot do this anymore. He's got to go. And I know that you guys there's some of y'all that have been through that. And I remember saying, Joy, I know it looks hopeless, but Joy, if you don't ever take the steps to change what you're in and you've been in for so long, it's never going to get better. And I remember your anguish. I remember your but I didn't sign up for this. Candi, I don't want to be the one that, files for divorce or whatever. And then what happened?
Well, the main thing is you want to feel like you're in control, which none of us are in control of our lives at really anything. Any moment, we could have one little blood clot could change your whole life, not know anybody. Money, even your money, your job, there's nothing that is permanent in this life. And so with all that I learned is you can't say, I trust you, Jesus, without really putting your total trust in him. And he is the only one that you will wake up with every morning and you will go to bed. He will go to bed with you every morning, every night, and he will stay awake. So there's no reason to stay awake. And I just remember, and it's funny because I didn't have control, but I guess you kind of want to control your chaos. And then when you feel like you've lost something, you have to feel it. So my week was fine because I went to work. Right. I had the same routine. I had Wednesday night church. I had Sunday church. Well, this is after COVID, so we didn't have Sunday night. And I can remember sitting in my bedroom in my chair and just wondering, where do I go? What do I do? 23 years, I've been living with someone. I've had this routine. We've done pretty much everything together. And you had to relearn, what am I doing? Couldn't stand weekends. And anyway, which I learned through all of that is to pour into other people.
Right.
There's someone that's hurting worse than you.
Right.
There is a widow. There is people that are in nursing homes. There are people that are confined to their homes that don't have a vehicle.
Right.
I have ended up, that's what I ended up doing. Nursing home. I have a friend that's 88 years old. Go over there, and she said, "Joy, you're my best friend." And to realize that you could make happiness and you can bring sunshine into other people's lives, you kind of start forgetting about your own problems.
Right. And I think that, was, for the first year, Joy pretty much every morning would call me. And she would say, I can't do this, Candi. Like, she struggled. I mean, because like she said, when you are used to your life being the same every day, basically, you can predict, I'm going to work, blah, blah, blah. Like, what you're going to do. And then you all of a sudden are hit in the face, like with,
your life.
My life is totally different. What do I do now? Like, I'm lost. You were lost.
It's a death. And I had 2 ministers' wives that had lost their husbands call me that are elder ministers' wives. And they both told me the same thing. They said, "Joy, I knew that when my husband passed, that he was in love with me."
Right.
And they both said the same thing. They had not talked to each other and really don't even know each other. And they both said the same thing, is that I couldn't even imagine my husband out somewhere and not in love with me anymore.
Right, right.
And it's a death. It's worse than a natural death. A death of a marriage is a very hard thing.
That's what it is. Like, it's a death. It's a death of something that
it's still alive, but not part of your life.
Sorry. Come on, Bubba. Sorry. It's unscripted. Come on, buddy. Well, and that's the thing. You kind of like you said, it's a death to the life that you signed up for. You were committed.
But you still see them. That's what's harder. There's really never any full closure, because they will always, as long as they're living, and you have children, they're going to be some part of your life. So you do have to learn, which is I had a minister that had been through divorce, and he told me not long ago, he said, "You may every morning have to get up and forgive that person, but you keep doing it over and over and over. You say, 'I forgive you.' And sooner or later, it will go away."
That is good. That is good, because, I know some of you. I know some of you are going through this very thing right now, and you think it is never going to get better. I remember Joy. I would say, "Joy, God's got you." But Candi, all of a sudden I'm a one income. Like, Candi, what in the world? And, and fortunately, there's never an easy way. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, her son was almost out of school. Mm-hmm. And so I know that all of y'all are in different seasons. But like I said today, the reason we're doing this is to show you that there is hope. Mm-hmm. I remember the hopelessness that Joy mm-hmm. felt. I remember when every day I would just be like, the phone would ring and I'm like, "God, give me the words, God, because I'm not going through this." But I was, because it was my sister. I just know that, and when she texted me the other day, she said, "It's been 5 years." Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here thinking maybe 3 years, because, you just lose track of time and life goes so fast. Mm-hmm. And so what I want you to tell me is I want you to talk about is, I would say, once, I'll never forget the day that she called me and said, this is what, it was July. It was July the following year. She called me and she said, "We just finalized everything."
It was December. December. It was
But what
a
was
year. It was over
but
a
in
year.
July,
Took over a year.
Bella and I were traveling. You walked out and y'all were signing papers. But
Oh yeah, vehicle and everything.
oh yeah, so it was kind of a closure that I remember. Me and Bella Grace were traveling. We had been traveling for like 2 weeks, and I remember one day we get in the car, and we were in Arkansas, and we get in the car, and Joy texts me, and she had texted me earlier to pray, and we're going in, and I remember her texting me. Me and Bella had gotten back in the car from. We were on the campus of University of Arkansas. Y'all know I love football, and Joy said it's done. And I'm gonna be honest, I was like, whoo, because that's one step where, okay, we're getting closer. So what I want you to say or tell us about is like once all of that, I think I want you to talk about how during the time, say maybe that first year, Joy was so worried about income, which I know you understand. Any of you that have been in a marriage for a long time and there's two incomes, I mean, everybody knows we need two incomes nowadays to make it. I remember Joy saying, I just don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know what it's, and then she trusted God. Don't get me wrong. But until you're in that situation where the enemy is on your shoulder, helplessness, hopelessness, it's easier to say, yeah, it's fine. It's going to be fine. God's going to provide.
Well,
but tell me,
first of all, I was sharing with someone a few weeks ago how God had all of this. He knew there's not a thing you go through God didn't know it was going to happen. There's the best. That's the greatest thing to realize. There's nothing in your life's going to happen. No thought you think, nothing that will happen that He doesn't know because He knows all things.
Right.
It can blow you away. It can take you by surprise, but it will not.
It has to go through Him. Yeah.
So beforehand, God had already aligned everything. And maybe not everybody's this way, but God had, everything had been rolled in our house. We went through a flood, lost everything material-wise of marriage, or accumulated even as a young person, letters and stuff, cards from loved ones and people that are gone, passed away. Things that sentimental to you, lost. And that was a big death.
Yeah, that was a loss.
And anyway, then actually my husband then had health issues and he had lost a job already. So I was already actually for a year and a half, only about 6 months did he work in a year and a half.
So you're already.
It was only God taking care of us anyway.
Right.
But God had already had everything rolled in, medical and all kinds of stuff that we had dealt with, the house repairs that insurance didn't pay. And we had that all rolled in the house, and God already had everything ready. My vehicle was paid for, and He knew it was going to happen. And so everybody's different, but I live for God. Just my personal story is I've always paid my tithes, given a tenth, and offering and paid missions, gave to missions. And He loves a cheerful giver. So that's the only way to give is cheerful. And so He had already prepared me. So when everything was divided, we didn't have credit card debts. We didn't have all this. It was pretty cut and dry. And anyway, so then after that, I went into a job I really didn't like. And no matter what I did, it was wrong. I ended up getting fired. Different ones like, Joy, it's not fair, it's not right. And a friend like, Joy, you need to contact an attorney. And I actually talked to an attorney friend and he said, Joy, it's not your personality. You're going to have to get up in her face. And I said, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I lost a job, didn't even get on unemployment. People can do what they want, but I said, God, I trust you. And for 6.5 months, I was unemployed. God allowed me to have someone to stay with at night that helped me. And I never went without. And sometimes in life, you may think that your life slows down and you almost feel like it stops and you feel another death.
Yeah.
And God is transitioning you. He's not your life is not coming to an end. It is transitioning to where it needs to go.
Yeah, right.
And that's a hard place to be. Feeling like you have no reason of being. Your job when you work is a ministry.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that, I just got up in the morning and I felt another day of hopelessness. After a year and a half of going through depression, and because I started looking on paper, I started listening more of Dave Ramsey than God. It's like, God, how can I make it? But I'd already been making it.
Yeah.
I'd already been making it. And he made a way. He provided people to go take the doctors.
Yeah.
I took them to appointments.
You found your purpose
I still
in the
had a
middle
purpose, yeah.
of your pain.
Right.
I remember, like,
Every
I said,
day ended up actually being a busy day.
yeah, like she was busy. Like she found things to do and people needed her.
It's
And I
amazing.
remember saying, Joy, that is so wonderful that God has literally given you your ministry
And a
something.
break from regular work.
Right. I mean, she kind of had freedom of a schedule and stuff like that. And the thing, though, that I have told so many of my friends about Joy's journey is that Joy never did without. In
Never.
fact,
Never.
I told my friends, I said, I remember telling you one time, Joy, I've never seen anybody go through the first year or two of divorce and make more money probably because of God blessing her
Provision.
through people pouring into her financially, spiritually, giving her because she had always given to God and she had always ministered to others. So the door opened to where God poured out on her what she had been pouring out on others. But you got to take women to the doctor. You got to be there for people. And that was her ministry. Joy,
That was my time for 6.5 months. That
Right.
God, it wasn't unintentional. It was intentional by God.
yeah, God.
Realigning me. Then I got into a friend of mine encouraged me to go back to school. And I thought,
She was scared to death, scared to
I'm gonna
death.
go back to school. I ain't been to school in over 30 years. And
But
Oh, my
as Daddy
goodness.
used to say, it literally made you had to have growing pains. Like it pushed her into another place
yeah.
and
So
another.
I didn't have a job. I told my friend, I said, actually, she picked me up. She said, we're going on a field trip. And I said, I had my walking clothes on. I don't even think I did my hair. I said, where are we going? And everybody needs friends like that. That kind
Right.
of makes you upset sometimes.
That'll get you out of your mess.
It makes you
Absolutely.
upset. You get aggravated at them because they get you out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
And so here we go down the road. Here I am. I'm not even employed. And I'm in a school. And I'm like, Lisa. And there's cards everywhere. And I'm like, I said, no, I'm not going in there. And so it ended up being the day, it was their orientation day. And so I went in there. She said, oh, no, Joy, it's going to be okay. We're gonna meet the administrator. And I'm in here. I got an Alabama t-shirt on. I got a little skirt, my walking skirt on, and my tennis shoes. And well, Brandon was his name. And he ended up being, I had went through an ACE school at the end of my senior year because I got shingles. There's another issue. And anyway, he knew about ACE. He graduated at ACE school.
Right.
And I didn't think anybody knew what that was. Every detail was amazing.
Everything worked out.
And then, anyway, I had to fight. I had to go through, I think, 5 different people to get my transcript from the Christian school that I had graduated from that had closed.
Right.
And if you look it up, it says closed permanently online. I couldn't get in touch with anybody. Phones were disconnected. And the Lord actually dropped it in my mind.
Yeah.
And one friend had a friend.
Right.
And I'm serious. It was like 5 people went through. And in 2 months, finally I got it. Finally got my transcript. I never thought I could do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is with God, if you trust him and you ask him to direct your steps, there's only going to be one path.
That's right.
If you're trying to make a path and hit a door and it's closed, the wall, don't try. Just trust God that is not a door to go through.
Right.
And God turned it around. I got a job that I really enjoy. I love working with people, and I'm going to school and plan on graduating and continuing until I do graduate. Online school, full-time student, and full-time employment now. And
I mean,
I would have not seen it. I couldn't see it then, because no part of trust and faith is what you see. If you see it, you don't hope for it and trust for it. Even the Bible says that.
Right.
You either trust God or you don't. Because, and I told Candi this earlier today, I read this. It said that it is actually a form of pride to not trust God.
Because you want to take it in your own hands.
And
that is our pride. That's being proud, like prideful. When you're like, I can fix this, God.
Right. Who are we to think that, I mean, he remembers, he takes care of every single detail. Every detail of us. And we can trust him.
And my thing is that, you know, even the lilies, he dresses them. The sparrows, they don't worry about the food. Mm-mm. They don't worry where my food's coming from.
He said that we're to learn from them. And if we feel we can ever physically take care of a problem of ourselves, it is pride.
It is pride.
Because when he said, he said, trust in the Lord, the word, with all your heart, lean not to thine own understanding, and all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. He wants us to do that.
Yeah.
We have to. He said, trust in me. Trust in me. What is your understanding? I've thought about that many times. We have no understanding. We have no understanding. We've never lived in the next moment. Yeah. We have no understanding of what really God's will is, except what his Bible, what the word says. But for our personal life, we never know where he wants us to turn. And when I get up, actually, and I find this all the time, I'll go to the store and I'll run into the right person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, God is that intentional that he wants you to be he wants you to be where you could take this right turn. No, don't go that way today.
Right.
And he will put you in the right step, in the right path of the right person that is in need of him and hurting. And it happens all the time. And I'm like, and what I've told many people lately is God is intentional. He is intentional in everything he does.
Very intentional.
He is. Yeah. Even if you go through a health crisis, I've learned when I had some issues, okay, God, this doctor, I don't know if, you know, what they're going through. The nurses, a lot of people don't think like that. And I've thought, okay, God, if I can be a witness to them, if I can encourage them, okay, Lord, I know you're allowing this for a reason. And I actually look when I go in the doctor's office, look around, look at the people around. What would you have me to say today?
Right.
What about that person that felt like I did? I never know. And one little thing I want to say is I need to get some more cards. I had little cards made. And it said, my name is, it says, I pray, I care, need prayer, call joy. I gave one of them back in 1997 after I moved here. And a lady came in where I worked, and I was taking utility payments. And she said, anyway, she was paying her bill, and I felt very impressed to give her my card. She was crying. I said, you doing okay? I did not know her. And she said, I'm okay. And she just found out she was pregnant. Okay. She didn't tell me any details. So she called me, and she ended up going to church, had a service for ladies meeting on that Friday or Saturday night. It's been a long time ago. Well, we started talking, and she said, when you gave me that card, anyway, it was the lowest moment of my life. Her and her husband had been having marital problems, on the verge of divorce, and she just found out that she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. And the more we talked that night after that lady's service, I found out that she was in my mother-in-law's best friend's daughter. And my mother-in-law's mother would go take her as a child, her and her brother, to church.
Mm.
And so the prayers of my mother-in-law's mother and the desire to see these little children live for God, though she had been gone for many years,
Right.
was still going.
Right.
So she ended up, Brenda and her husband, getting in church, getting baptized. They were filled with the Holy Ghost. Ended up working with our kids ministry.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And I did not know who Brenda was.
Yeah.
And I've thought many times, what if I would have not given my card to Brenda?
Yeah, it's so true.
Because she was at her lowest point of life.
So you were at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
We're scared sometimes to open our voice, open our mouth.
Yeah.
We're just used to going through the routine of life. But one little word can open up and change somebody's life. She was in a bad situation.
Right.
And I found out, I got a call after I went through divorce, or going through divorce. My then mother-in-law called me, and she wanted to let me know that Brenda had died. She had actually had been killed on the side of the road. Someone came and killed her. And she started crying, and she said, I just want to tell you, Joy, I thank you that Brenda had an opportunity
Wow.
to go to heaven because you were not afraid and you gave her a card.
Yeah.
So do not be afraid to get into someone's world, to sneak in someone's world and give hope.
Right.
You just never know. Their thoughts, everybody, anytime anybody's ever committed suicide, the whole area goes around. They start, oh my goodness, we've got to be more intentional. We've got to pay attention to people.
Right.
And then it dies away.
Yeah.
And then someone else takes their lives. And, oh my goodness, I wish I would have realized that she was in that bad situation. I didn't know it was so bad.
You have
The condition was so bad.
You have to, so basically Joy is what Joy is saying. Like we could talk all day. There's always somebody hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that time. Someone kind of like step back and kind of retouch over. So we all go through that time of hurt where we need
There's
someone.
not one person.
But when we, on a daily basis, tell God, put me in the right places. Open the doors that need to be opened in my life. Shut the doors that do not need to be opened. I pray, place me in the path of someone today that something I say, something I do, something I share can change their lives. That is what we all ought to be doing, because like you said, when someone takes their life, people always they go back and say, oh my God, I wish I would have.
You got to do it today.
Why don't we do it every time we run into someone? Because the lady in the line next to us or behind us could be hurting. But if we're so consumed with ourselves and our agenda and our problems, but when you trust God totally with your life, God, whatever you want to do through me. So all of the hurt that Joy went through, all of the things Joy went through, Joy is a different person.
Right.
It took letting go and letting God. And God, I mean, because guess what? We can sit there and try to manipulate, and it's just going to stress you out more.
Right.
But you're going to go through it anyway.
Right. Transition, it's transitioning. God transitions. The hardest part of our lives is when God is transitioning us. Maybe we're walking in the way we want to go, and God will start nudging us if we really want to change and be what He wants us, and He will start pushing in us. It's not a physical. Usually it's circumstances in our lives that, oh God, I'm out of control. Well, you never were in control.
Right.
But I can honestly say that I don't worry anymore. And there's not one person's worry has ever made things better.
Right.
Your thoughts can destroy you, They can help you, but they can't change your situation.
Right.
Only prayer can change your situation. And another thing I very much have learned is you cannot change another person. You cannot twist their arm, so to speak, until they change.
Right.
People are going to do what they want to do.
Right.
So there's only one person in this entire world that you have all power in changing, and that's yourself.
When we work on ourselves,
our situation changes. They may not, the other people,
right.
but our situation will change because we will see it through eyes. And that's another thing I always pray. God, let me see, your eyes.
Yeah.
Let me see things the way you want to see.
Right.
Let me see people the way.
Right.
Let me see them. And you only can control and change your life. You do not have control. Your children, your husband, or whatever. Yeah. And if you're never happy until you're happy with you and Jesus,
right.
No relationship will fulfill you. No relationship, no person can fulfill you because no one is 100% whole. Everybody has some issues.
Right. We all have, yeah.
So the only one that's whole is Jesus.
Yeah.
And so that is really the relationship. If we work on our relationship with Him, all of our other relationships will be better.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Prayer changes things. Worry doesn't change things.
Yeah.
And our words don't change things as far as trying to push somebody, manipulate them to do what you want. Right. They can do it, but they're not a changed person.
No, they're not doing it because they want to do it. They're actually doing it because of you.
Our focus in our lives, if our relationship with Jesus grows and grows, we will be healthier in whatever situation because He's the only one. And once, as I said to begin with, He's the only
one that's going to complete us.
People will die. Yep. You'll have cancer. You will not always have your parents. You will not always have your siblings, spouses, children, but you'll always have Jesus. And if you work on your relationship with Him, you will have a fulfilling life because He knows every detail. He created you, formed you in His image, and after His likeness, He created us. And we can only be happy if we are filled with Jesus.
Yeah.
Our lives.
Only Jesus can satisfy your soul. So that was a very paraphrase, close, quick, condensed. But thank you so much for joining us. And I hope something that was said today could help. Because bottom line is, if the whole inside of us that is made for only Jesus, the whole inside of us that nothing else will fill, if you fill it up with Jesus.
God cavity is my
absolutely, a God cavity.
And only God can fill it.
Then you will be a better person after divorce, after loss, whatever it is. Work on you because that's all we have.
Right.
Because like Joy said,
only one we're going to live with always and be with every moment of our lives is ourselves.
So you got to love yourself. So you got to be full of Jesus so that you love yourself and all the things because we all have mess. But only Jesus satisfies your soul. Thank you so much for being a part. Thank you, Joy, for being a part of this episode. And like I said, we pray that something we said, something we shared could help you.
Thank you.